to substance use. Now, the other thing is that is causing a lot of pain is substance use. I've just put all these things together, but maybe as we go, we're going to be looking at these topics in detail, one by one. But today we just thought maybe let's have an overview, and just help and see, because we didn't know that the response was going to be overwhelming. But one of the things that we have seen is substance abuse, drug abuse. It's so much. It's one of the things that destroys lives. I have seen people who are not drinking before they go to university, and when they come back, they will not have any degree, and they'll have an addiction. Those who've got a degree are so addicted that they cannot use the degree. And what we have also seen in the stories that are done there, there are scholarships flying everywhere. Scholarship for this, scholarship for that. But you must check the scholarship status. Is it for tuition? Because the tuition, they can pay the tuition, but they will not pay the survival of that child. So the child is in Canada, in Toronto, or wherever. Tuition paid, but no money for food. They have to go for prostitution. They have to become gay. They have to become drug peddlers to fund. So we need to interrogate before we go that, is this the right thing? Yes, it's good to have a degree from Australia. But is it worth it to go to Australia and then bring a drug addict that you have imported from Australia? Parents, we never look at that. The students also don't look at that. All they want is, no, I cannot go to AU. I cannot go to what. Then you go there and you are so broke. Tuition is not enough. So we have to interrogate what the package and whether we are going to sustain it as parents. Some people will sell the car for the first step. You really have to look whether your child can then sustain that. And so when it comes to drug dependence, this has to do with alcohol. This has to do with cannabis. I know people who say cannabis is medicinal. Cannabis has got over 450 substances in it. Very few of them have got medicinal. But when you smoke it in the quantities and in the grade, the Malawi grade, you are getting very few of the medicine and very more of the toxins. And here's the thing. When I give you a 1 dose of cocaine, so what the drug dealers will do is that they'll give you the first dose for free. You will have such a high. Can I say something about the higher of cocaine? It's some people who did it say that it's better than sex or orgasm. That's why it hijacks the mind. The mind will start to seek the cocaine more than anything. So with the drug, what we simply say is that the drugs, they hijack what is called the pleasure center in your brain. So you do not derive pleasure from eating. Like for some of you, when you go to parties, you eat and you feel pleasure. You eat chocolates and you feel pleasure. You dance to music and you feel pleasure. If you take cocaine, you eat no chocolate, no ice cream, no music, no whatever. You want it. And what happens is that you then develop what is called dependence or tolerance. You need higher doses to hit the same level. So at first you'll be taking 1 dose. Now you need 7. Now you need, and so it's not sustainable. It's a rolling stone. It's like it gathers more. You need more until you are so dependent and you are not functional. And all your mind is thinking is cocaine, or meth, or alcohol. It has taken over you. So you don't go to school. You don't go anywhere. And so it starts with you know what? We're going to go clubbing. We're going to go clubbing. And what we have also seen is that those ones that never went clubbing, they will club as if, they would, their freedom. That, the ones that never did anything when they are given their freedom. Oh, yeah. So we need to have a discussion about these things. And if your child does not know that one dose of cocaine will got them hooked for life, they will take it and get hooked for life. But if they know, they avoid it. They avoid it. So we need to stop this. I've seen so many lives destroyed. I've seen the poor destroyed by drugs. I've seen the rich of the rich. The richest people here in Zimbabwe, their children destroyed by drugs. Is this helping? Is this helping? So we need to discuss about this. And there's no country without drugs. There's no university without drugs. In fact, they specialize on universities. That's where they are. There's always a drug lord at every university. There's somebody peddling drugs. Even at Christian universities, somebody's peddling drugs. So cocaine is bad news. Meth is bad news. LSD is bad news. Cannabis is bad news. What we have seen is that most of our admissions at the psychiatric hospitals in this nation are as a result of cannabis. Oh, Brongo is bad news and the cough mixtures. What's in there that is causing the psychosis is actually the codeine, which is transformed into morphine in the body. So it's a weak morphine, but it then accumulates. So somebody will drink the whole bottle and they will achieve the same thing as somebody who has drunk morphine. So when you try to stop, you can't. So we call that addiction. So some people will come with intoxication. So it's a process. You first become intoxicated, you can break windows, you have blackouts and all those kind of things. But over time, you then become physically dependent, which means that the moment you stop, you start having withdrawals, shaking and vomiting and all that. So you need more to maintain. Cocaine is costing $60 in Zimbabwe. I've seen people blow 3 houses in Borodale worth 250 within 5 years. They sell the house that you would have left them as a parent, and they start living in the streets. They'll steal, they'll sell everything. They'll sell you as the parent for a dose of cocaine. Cocaine is bad news. If you are sitting next to your daughter, just step them and say, "This one, don't touch. Don't touch." All right. So, can something be done? Yes, something can be done. But the process of helping is we are talking about 60 to 40% success rate. So it's better to prevent it than to try to treat it. And this is where sometimes parents struggle and say, no, I'm just talking to him. When you see somebody is out of control, step in and take action. If somebody is drinking roga or if somebody is drinking poison, you say, no, at their time they are going to stop. No. This is your child. Take action then and there. Yes, he's an adult, but when you are under drugs, you need help. And they might not be in a position to make that conscious decision that they need help. Some of them come in psychotic, not knowing where they are. And one guy who was so tossed with cannabis, his father brought him, and he was saying to the father, "I met you somewhere." When I remember, I'll tell you who you are. I met you somewhere. And you expect that person to be making a decision. So no, gatumsiye achazouya kuzorapwa kana afunga ada. Munhu ari kuti ndare wewe ndokuziya but asinyazoziva ndakasangana newe kupi. All right. Let's move to stress. Now, this is so key. some few definitions. Stress is a person's response to a threatening or a challenge, either a threat or something that is challenging. Whenever you feel stressed, something is threatening you or challenging you. The stressor is the stimulant causing the stress. And the thing is this: the stress can come from anywhere. And most of us, you might be strong in one area, but you've got another area that you're weak. So it's so key. And one of the things that I have seen, especially in the, when you look at that social stress, social media stress at the university, it's so key. I had one child who came who did not finish at the university because of social media. He went and asked a girlfriend, or he went and asked a girl out in his class. The girl said no, posted it on social media. That this guy asked, who does he think he is? I cannot go with such a low class. The guy did not come out of his room for 8 weeks. Did not write exams. Was not eating. And he thought that the whole world knew. And it was just that little. But it's social. So he became stressed. He became depressed. It can come from spiritual stress. Offerings. And after feast. Seeds. I see some people sell their only car for seed. Stress. And then nothing happens. Health. Do you know that one of the things that will change your stress level is your health? Right now you are fit right there. But if I tell you that you've got cancer, you've got 5 years to live, your whole life changes. So health, physical health, is so key. And what we have also seen that chronic conditions, your kidney problems, your diabetes, your cancers, those have got a high stress burden, including HIV. HIV in this country, we did studies and we show that 35% of people who are positive have got depression. And yet it's not treated. So health is key. It's a stressor. You've got your finances. Oh yeah, Zimbabweans, I don't have to tell you about that. That financial pressure is so real. Especially if at one point you had money. Then you go to Kwabam. Are you get what I'm saying? Not Kwabam, but Kwabam. Are you get what I'm saying? But you know when it's easy to forget poverty. But forget riches. Okay, so social pressure. Your kid will have social pressure. You'll be in a class with somebody who's a millionaire, who's coming with a drop top, and he's coming, and you are just struggling to send that kid. Befriends that person and wants to compete with him or with her. You were with short hair. Now you want to compete with somebody who's Brazilian, 650, 33 meters long Brazilian. Intellect. This one is so key. I have seen so many students getting into stress and pressure, depression and anxiety based on this one. Number one, you parents, you are shoving degrees that you thought you would have done yourself, which you did not do. So you are saying to the son, do medicine, which he does not want. Do law, because I want to be and this guy wants to do agriculture. And you say, if I'm going to pay. So the guy will get in there and be so stressed. And you will fail, and you wonder, how can this guy fail? Because they don't want. Allow your child to make a choice. And some of the degrees that you are forcing them to do, they're being replaced by robots anyway. In the entrepreneurship class, I actually teach that your degree does not matter. You can be poor or rich with any degree. The only thing that your degree will teach you to do is to think. I want the thinking pattern. We actually have to teach your kids entrepreneurship and how to make money and to manage money. No degree does that. So you're wasting your time. It was true in the 80s that if you are a doctor, you will be rich. But it's not true in the 2020s. I would rather be a cashier at Zinar. Huh? Those who know, they know. All right? Okay. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? So, one of the things that I've seen there is forcing. So, discuss. What I actually say that before they choose, there must be proper career guidance. And most of the people that are guiding your kids then actually don't know what they are saying. Has your child gone for career guidance? Have they looked at industries that are folding in the next 10 years? Which industry that will be there in the next 20 years? The other thing that I've seen on the internet is that there are some schools which coach people to pass. So they what I call fake high grades. So they pass here, but when they go to university where they are not being spoon-fed, they will struggle because now they are operating at their normal intellectual capacity. So because they've got very high points and now they are not being spoon-fed, they struggle. They've also would have gone into programs which are so demanding based on the points, but on the real. So I would rather have a child who comes home with 5 points and know that this is a 5-point child than to have a 20, 30, 60-point child who then starts to operate at a 5-point child. And you lose your son with a certificate hanging on the wall with all the points on F. Can we talk about this? Yes. Is this helping? Yes. Family. Let me not start over there. Some families are dysfunctional. Do not wait for someone to get sick mentally when you see that this family is not functioning. Few weeks ago, there was a family, 20-year-old, 30-year-old, guys fighting in front of the mom pulling the other, some jumping for it and fighting. And when you see you guys fighting at this age, you are dysfunctional. You are dysfunctional. Okay? So when you see yourself like this, your mom is divorced, your father is divorced, there's one son from this, there's one son from that, you've got your 2 sons from there, and you go there, you are weird and ningi, you're in the streets, you're supposed to be in Borodale. You're dysfunctional. You don't need somebody to say you're dysfunctional. You need family therapy. And unfortunately, most families are dysfunctional. Very dysfunctional. So when they are telling you the story, it's those things that you see on those what's it called? Soaps. There's nothing. It's nothing than what is in here in the Harare. We can give them storylines. That Santa Barbara is nothing, whatever. Or what is called? What's there today? You know, some of us don't watch TV anymore. That's nothing. Or Greenleaf or something. That's nothing. The story is here. No. But what we do is we want to keep things under control. We want to pretend as if we are a good family to the neighbors, and to the relatives. As if you've got it together, but behind the scenes, you are dying, you are killing yourself, and you go into stress and you become depressed and then have anxiety.